I'm going to give you 10 steps to open a boxing gym. Step by step, everything you need to know in order to be successful. You can open a boxing gym without this information, but I can't promise you'll be successful. With this, you will. I'm Coach Keith Keppner. Not only do I coach boxers, but I also coach business owners, specifically mostly in the boxing and fitness space, but I've also helped out a few other people in kind of adjoined industries and help them grow their business, start their business, and be successful. I remember one person I worked with over the past couple of years, I helped them actually double their business. Now, why should you listen to me? I've opened up quite a few locations of boxing gyms specifically. I've also opened up my own locations as well, been a multi-unit owner, and then I also help larger companies with their locations. So let's get into it. The first thing is going to sound kind of like whatever, like your typical thing that you would, when you AI computer, how to open up a business, you'll see this, but this is important. All right. So this is why I'm not going to pass over it. This is important. This is not something I did the first time, and you can get away without doing this, but it can be very dangerous. First, you need to determine your budget. Taking the time to simply maybe save up so that you're properly prepared to go to war, because opening up your own business is like going to war. It is going to war 24/7, 365. Most people underestimate how long it will take to be successful or to be profitable or even to break even. With the franchise businesses that I've worked with granting franchises of my own boxing gym business, I will tell people how long it takes to get it to break even and how long it will take them to be profitable. And that seems to just go over their head and it gets glazed over in their mind. I also tell them about how fast they can be successful, but I try to balance those two things out, but it almost feels like only people hear the how fast can I be successful. So you want to be prepared. The more prepared you are, the more ammunition you have in your gun, in your weapon when you go out in the battlefield, the more successful you're going to be. So all of this is going to be predicated on what your budget is, all right? And like with so many things, we want instant reward nowadays. I promise you, take your time, learn, save, work very hard at whatever it is you do right now, and live very frugally so you save up the money so that therefore you can come out gangbusters but still be intelligent with how you spend it. Also, it does actually pay, believe it or not, to pay other people to give you advice that actually know what the F they're doing, okay? So you're just listening to your buddy or your relative or whatever. All right, so first is determine your budget. That's a whole thing, but I'm not going to go deep into that one. Before we get to the next one, open up an LLC and a bank account. Yes, you want to keep the business finances separate from your own, for the very simple reason of that you're going to dip into it for your own personal stuff if you don't. But if you take it just like a savings account, take it and put it into an actual business account, now that is the business's money. So whatever the business makes or whatever you put in there that you've allocated and saved up to put in to start the business, or maybe you had someone help you out, that is the business's money. Do not mix and match those things together. Do not skim off the top and everything else that every business owner does. You get some cash, you put it in your pocket, you go buy yourself a soda down the street. Don't do that. Open up LLC. I'm not going to sit here to tell you step by step how to do that, because you can just Google search that unless you're really lazy. And if you're too lazy to Google search it, then you have no business starting your own business. And you're not going to be successful if you do. All right, now site selection and lease. This is something I'm going to dive into a little bit because it's not something you can just Google search. When we're talking about site selection and the lease of a location, everything else, you have a few different options here. All right, you could start a boxing gym in your garage, and there's really no reason why you shouldn't. It's just, what's your tolerance of risk? You go into a commercial lease, you are strapped in there for typically 3 to 5 years, depending, and there's really no way to get out of that thing. You could sublease it if that's in your lease agreement. That's something that I have done, but also it can be a big headache. Also, you might not be qualified for a commercial lease, frankly. That's another thing. So therefore, you need to get someone that's going to co-sign on it with you that has a good credit history or whatever, or you two together come together, and that allows you to conjoined have a good credit history or enough credit, let's say, financial backing to support the lease. But if that's not your situation, that's okay. You can sublease a space from another gym or somebody else, some other type of business. I recommend, though, I don't recommend, you have to do, if you're going to do that, a business that is synergistic with what you're doing. Do not lease it from a barber shop or a car shop or a nightclub or whatever. Doesn't mean you can't be successful, because I bet someone could comment below and tell me someone that they knew that was successful. All right, but it's like so many people when you talk to about successful. Just this one guy, did a consultation call with him. he reached out to me through Instagram at Coach Keith Keppner and messaged me, said, hey, I'm going to be maybe coming in as a partner to this boxing gym business that I currently coach out of. Hey, can I pay you for your time? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me help out. So he and I spent an hour together on a call like this and went through everything. And from the outside, from everything I see, from just looking at his gym that he's a part of, I'm like, it looks like it's doing pretty good. But like he said, when the accountant actually went into the numbers and everything else, it's not doing well at all, right? So remember, people in the gym doesn't mean it's doing well. It looks cool online doesn't mean it's doing well. So remember all those things. That's not success. Success is actually it's paying you money over time and consistently. All right, but anyway, so with site selection, like I'm saying, you can start it in your garage and literally do everything I'm talking about right here, maybe minus a few things because of ordinances. And if you're in a position where that is what you have to do, then do that. It's something that I'm not above. It's something that sometimes I've considered doing. Like if I relocate maybe to the other side of the country, I might just do that, put a boxing ring in a garage and deck it out a little bit and do all the principles I know of to blow up a business. And then maybe when it's really doing cash flow, maybe I'll open up a location there on the other side of the country if I move out there. All right, so site selection though, so often when people site select for a boxing gym, they will pick some type of industrial space, somewhere they can just have some space where again they can put a ring and they can put some bags. Right? They want some square footage. And they oftentimes think that more square footage is better. It's not. It's more to maintain, it's more to clean, it's more trouble, and it's more money. You want to, like I mentioned in my other videos about boxing gym businesses, narrow it down to the tiniest space possible to still get the job done. So to the bare minimum. Do not go bigger is better. I remember the first gym that I was a part of it all. It wasn't a gym that I opened, but I was a part of it opening. We had like 10,000 square feet with 20 members. And then when I split off and did my own thing and opened up in like 1,800 square feet, or no, it's 1,200 square feet, I took probably 17 of the 20-some members and brought them to there. And that was a lot better. And that's how I built Keppner Boxing and everything else out of that, and then expanded a little bit. And then frankly made the mistake of over-expanding. So I'm someone who has made this mistake actually with my own business from time to time. You're going to want to select smaller because where you want to spend the money is not on square footage, but on location. Location. You can rationalize it like this. Every business should, and in order to grow, spend money on marketing no matter how good your service is. The better location you get, yes, the more you will pay for your lease per square foot, but that needs to be accounted for in your mind as marketing dollars. Because drive-by, everything else, and the association of an area, right? The synergy with that area. You have people that if you're right next to a liquor store, if you're right next to a strip club, that's not a good spot. Or if it's a spot that no one can see, maybe it's near a main road or right on a main road, but nobody can see it just by how it's set in a shopping center or whatever. That's a problem. That's a big problem. And again, you can't be a perfectionist about it. There's some trade-offs you have to go for, and you have to go with what's available to a degree. But do not shy away from having something that you will have traffic going by that people will see, because that will make it so you don't have to spend as much money to advertise your business, because that is baked into your lease agreement and creates better success just all around. Because as people talk about your boxing gym and talk well about it, hey, it's a great place to go to, they're like, yeah, I saw that place. I drove by that place. I know exactly where it is, versus be the gym that people are like, where the hell is that? And then even when they go to look it up, your address on Google and whatnot, and they go there, they're calling you up like, where the hell are you? What? I see it all the time. And right there, a business could at least increase by a third, if not more, if they just had a better location. And a few other things with that. Now with the lease, there's a lot of things we go into with vetting a good lease, getting it set up in the right way for yourself to be most beneficial. You do want to look at to get some TI. What is that? Tenant improvement, meaning that the landlord will cover some of your build out, if not all of I've gotten all of a build out covered, meaning $25,000 to $30,000 of a build out covered. It's pretty good, right? So there's a few different things there that are very helpful. And then with the actual space itself, let's make sure it has AC. Yes, AC. It needs to have AC, because you are going to put a bottleneck on your growth as a business if it doesn't. The first gym I was partnered with, before I went on my own completely, we didn't have AC, and it killed the growth. If you want to have a gym that is going to pay you money and also allow you to coach fighters, so now you can take your passion and turn it into your actual profession, you need to have a place that has AC, all right? So that's just a non-negotiable. Now, getting the next thing. Number 4, business sign. Get business sign up. Massive. And I can't tell you how often, though there will be a boxing gym that's been around for a long time that doesn't have a sign up on the road or on the side of the building. 1, but 2, people think of this backwards. They think of all these steps not in this order. They will do all these things that we're going to go into and then put the sign up last. Like it needs to be an effing secret. No, have that sign right after you sign that lease. That's number 1. Before you get equipment in. People go buying the equipment. They go, oh, I'm going to make it beautiful. I want to make it beautiful before anyone knows about it. No, get your freaking sign up, because again, that's advertising. That's buzz. People start talking. What is that? Oh, there's a boxing gym. Huh? Okay. So now when you start to do marketing of any type, and then as we go down these steps, you are now going to be accomplishing the mission, which is what? The end goal is to have a lot of people in your gym that pay you money and you give them a great service for what they pay for. And you do that time and time again, just flywheel it and churn. Or not churn, but just turn that flywheel. Then number 5 is having a recurring membership platform. Again, so many people do this backwards. They get their gym open and they're like, I'm good to go. What's our membership options? Oh, here, well, you pay me this a month, or you pay me $100 a month, or $200 a month, whatever it is. Okay, cool. And you just pay me month by month. Boom. Yeah. But let me tell you, I was just talking to this guy the other day about it, with this gym that he's going to partner with. For instance, that gym, it doesn't have a recurring membership platform. So what is, for those of you guys that don't know what that means, it means just like with any bill that you have that reoccurs, that just gets charged out of your account or off of your card, and so therefore you don't have to think about it. It's actually better service, and then it actually makes for better client retention. It makes for better relationship with clients as well, because it's hard enough when you have that sometimes, and someone's card maybe gets declined or their bank account has insufficient funds or something like that happens. That's awkward enough with a client conversation, and you want that to happen few and far between, right? You want it to only happen when it has to happen. But the idea of literally chasing after 450, 500 clients a month every month, which is what you're going to get your gym to with this type of advice, it's not going to happen. And you're going to piss off your clients. And then you're going to do what I did when I started, which was sometimes people would pay me and I'd be like, I think you still owe me for this month. Like, no, I paid you last week. I'm like, oh man, geez. And then I'd be thinking in my head, like, did you? Or are you just lying to me? Have a platform. There's many out there. If you want to ask me, just comment below. I can just recommend a couple, but they're most all the same. And they most all have good things about them and also just suck in some ways too, right? There's really no perfect one that I found personally. I've worked with quite a few. And worked with quite a few different people that worked with quite a few too. So anyway, get that in so you can get the credit card information, so you can get the payment processing. And with that, when you do that, you will have a merchant account that is then there set up that works with that membership platform that will set up that reoccurring revenue. Many ways to do it. Some really simple ways to bootstrap it, but you must do it if you want to have a place that you can keep open and then again turn your passion into a profession. So now, next, we're going to get a wholesale account to get equipment. Again, a lot of folks, they go on Facebook Marketplace and things like that. And it's not that I've never done that. It's not that you shouldn't ever do that. Not that there's not ever like good opportunities and good equipment grabs on there. But go to one of the main equipment dealers, Tidal, Rev Gear, Combat Corner. Those are a few brands that I've worked with. Get a wholesale account, and now you can either get your branded stuff if you have that type of capital, depending on what your budget is that you determine. But if you don't, that's okay. You get a wholesale account and get that discount. You will need, your EIN or whatever set up under your LLC to set up that wholesale account with some of those companies, but that will give you discounts. So now you're going to be saving money to equip your gym out. Some things you might be better off trying to find them used, perhaps like if you're going to put a boxing ring in there. But if you have the capital, allocate it for it. Getting a new ring is good because the more new things you get, the better. And then you can also have that get depreciated to lighten your tax load. Now, while building out, whatever, who cares, the imperfect writing here, start selling memberships with a pre-sale. Again, this is something that people, they've watched that movie Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. I don't think I watched that movie maybe around the time that it came out. So I was like a little kid. Whenever that, I don't know. It came out early 90s, I think. But anyway, if you build it, they will come. No, it's not how business works. That's not how successful, sustainable business works. Not if you build it, they will come. You have to market it and sell it. All right. So how do we do that? Before you open up the doors, because remember, with that lease negotiations that we went through earlier in step number 3, we got ourselves at least a free month of rent, if not a few free months of rent, including TI, right? Tenant improvements. So now we're getting the cost to paint the whole dang thing, maybe tear down some walls, this, that, and the other stuff. We're getting that covered, right, by your landlord. But then we're also getting money that we're not having to pay out of pocket while we're doing all this other stuff. While all that's happening, while we have this grace period, we need to be selling memberships with a good pre-sale and pre-sale offer. I'm not going to go a ton right now into how to structure a pre-sale offer. That might be for another video, but I have definitely pre-sold boxing gyms where before they are open, they have 60, 75 members before the door is officially open. Paying members, all right? So many boxing gyms I know, maybe you know some like this, where they're open, they've been open for a long time, and they have about 70 members, right? I had 75 before even opening the doors for new locations that I opened up. Not my very first one. Very first one, I did everything wrong, right? That's how I learned what to do and what not to do. So get that rolling. Don't be shy to ask for that, because again, the only reason you should be shy to ask for pre-sales and people signing up before you even open, like, 1, you have to make an appealing offer, but 2 is you think you're going to flake out and not actually follow through with it. So you got to look yourself in the mirror if you don't have the balls to do it, because that means you probably aren't consistent yourself, and you need to suck it up and just do what you say you're going to do. All right. Then next is you do a soft opening, right? So we're doing our pre-sale while we're building out the location, while you're painting it, tearing down walls, getting it ready, whatever. You already got that sign up. You already got the membership platform. So when you do those pre-sales, you already got all the cards on file. You already took payment for an enrollment fee and maybe the first month, whatever have you. Then you do that soft opening. So what is this? This is an opportunity to test everything, right? You're going to do this a few weeks before you officially open, but it's going to be some small private classes, maybe with those pre-sale members, to essentially, and you frame them as, hey, I'm testing out the facility, making sure everything's ready to rock and roll. And that way you can work out all the kinks, versus what inevitably happens if you don't do this, you open up to the public and it's now your grand opening and what have you, and then crap messes up, right? Stuff breaks down, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I didn't realize that was a bad idea to put that there. This flow is all off with people coming through the door. The front desk needs to be by the door. I don't know why I put it by the bathroom. Stuff I've done. This is your time to fix that stuff. And then it builds up hype as well, because it's only for those pre-sale members, right? Keeps them engaged. Then you do your hard opening, right? Your grand opening. And now you're ready to rock and roll. And I put number 10, right? You could say it's 9 steps to opening a boxing gym, but I put number 10 as go, because now it is that inevitable work consistently, day after day, to grow your membership base and retain your membership base. And then included in here, I didn't mention it as a line, is then when you're going to scale it up. What do I mean by that? I mean make it more than a sole proprietorship. Have a team with you and behind you. If you're someone that has the budget, because that costs money to do that, which I didn't have, to do that with this opening, then this is something you do way earlier in this process. You do this around maybe 4, maybe 3 or the third or fourth step, right? So you sign that lease, you get that. That's the time you start looking for that first hire. If you don't already have that person in mind, that's a whole nother process. I'm going to do a video about that, about setting core principles, aligning with core principles, interviewing and everything else, and the type of person that you do want to hire to bring in and operate with in a boxing gym. It's not the person you think it is. It's really not. And I've seen so many people, I see almost everybody make this mistake. Actually, I'm going to say I see everybody make this mistake. They get drawn in by, yo, you got some credentials? Oh, you've been around boxing? Like, whoa. And that person just gets hired based off of credentials. It's kind of almost like hiring someone that can do a deadlift that's X number of pounds, right? My best deadlift I ever had was 480. Maybe it was 490, but let's just say it was 480, be safe. I didn't crack 500 on a deadlift. But it's basically like hiring me based off of, what's your deadlift? Oh, you did above 450, you did 480. Oh, well, this other guy, Johnny here, he only lifted 400. So I guess we'll hire Keith. right? Hiring the guy with the best deadlift is going to be a horrible idea for a good team member and employee, just like hiring someone based off of their boxing ability or even boxing credentials. All right. I know it's a hard thing for people to get, but trust me on it. That's something we could say happens in this process about step number 3 to 4. And then again, when we're scaling up, now you've hit 150 members, 200 members. If you're running this whole ship yourself, if you haven't already brought on a team member, then you're going to be needing to bring on somebody. And the first hire you need to have is, assuming that you're the person with the skills, right? You're the person that's the coach, let's say, right? You're doing the most of the teaching and the coaching and all that stuff, and you're kind of a little bit the face of the business, like how I am and was. Then your first hire needs to be someone that can cover the most simplest tasks to get you off those, right? So what's the simplest task? Some type of front desk work. Someone who can, for instance, check somebody in when they come through the door, and someone that when you sell them on a membership can fill out their membership and get their credit card information and everything else, and do some maintenance of the facility. That's your first hire, and because that's going to support you now to ensure the service is dynamite. Somebody that I work with and they consult with me, they revamped their whole team. They went from having a whole team to then down to just a couple people, and now they are fulfilling almost all the services, and they have one or two people that are doing that little bit extra to take a little bit of load off, and that is how they're having to rebuild, to reorganize their business so that then they can scale it to the next level. Because he actually does really well for himself, but he knows he can do even better, and in order to do that, he had to kind of condense everything down and now expand again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, guys. If it applies to you right now and you're looking to open up your own boxing gym, boxing practice of some type, or maybe it's something for you further down the road, a little bit later in your boxing journey, go back to this, revisit, comment below with any questions you have. And if you want to huddle up with me sometime, message me on Instagram and let's set that up. Also, last thing, watch out for the next video, guys.